Have you heard about the doctor robots in space? MIRA, the new and super cool surgical robot, is being sent to the International Space Station by NASA. From the movies we've seen, sending robots to space never ends well, but jokes aside, this robot will solve a bunch of problems. Now, in this video, we'll talk about how the International Space Station will host a surgical robot in 2024. First off, let's talk about medical emergencies in space. A functional surgical robot named MIRA is on its way to the International Space Station, ISS, and if testing goes well, it could one day save our lives on the Moon or Mars. Using a capsule, an astronaut on the ISS can return to Earth in less than 6 hours in the event of a medical emergency. This is not quite as quick as an ambulance would get you to the hospital, but it is quick enough to, for example, avoid a ruptured appendix. On Mars, astronauts won't have such convenience. If the planets are in the proper alignment at the moment of departure, the 34 million mile trip from the red planet to Earth should take around 9 months. Pretty sure an injured person won't survive that trip. The only other way left is to care for the hurt or unwell astronaut on Mars, because a quick evacuation is out of the question. But there is a good chance that, even if one of their fellow astronauts is a doctor, they won't be skilled in the necessary procedure. Imagine the number of lives this robot can save. An injured person traveling for 6 months would probably arrive in a state that nobody would like. So it's a great accomplishment to have this invention be there, looking out for the astronauts. We hope the need for the help of MIRA never arises, but if it does, we'd be interested in seeing how it does. Next up is the testing in space. MIRA is a miniature surgical robot developed by the University of Nebraska-Lincoln engineering professor Shane Farrader. MIRA may be operated remotely, so NASA might locate a physician skilled in treating the condition of an astronaut on Mars and have that physician perform a procedure from Earth. Plus, sending it to Mars wouldn't significantly boost mission cost because it only weighs 2 pounds. In 2024, NASA intends to test a MIRA surgical robot on the ISS. The robot will automatically carry out simulated surgical procedures once it's inside the space station, such as snipping stretched rubber bands and gliding metal rings down a wire. Farrader's team can test the robot's performance in microgravity without consuming astronauts' time or clogging up communication channels by letting the bot carry out these tasks on its own. According to Farrader, the astronaut turns a switch, the process starts, and the robot does its work by itself. The astronaut turns it off 2 hours later, and it's finished. As part of an investigational device exemption to support U.S. Food and Drug Administration market authorization, MIRA is currently in the final stages of its U.S. clinical trial. The system isn't on the market for purchase currently. The whole idea is so fascinating. We hope the tests go as per expectations. If this works, it has the potential to be one of the biggest inventions yet. Saving so many lives of people serving the country is a big deal. So this means that it's extremely helpful and important beyond space travel too. It's unclear how the MIRA robot would get across the communication gap between Earth and Mars during surgery, which can range from 5 to 20 minutes, depending on how the planets are aligned. NASA may be considering the robot's potential to assist astronauts on Mars and beyond, because Farrader does predict that the robot will be able to perform surgery independently in 50 to 100 years. As useful as the MIRA surgical robot may prove to be for astronauts in the future, it's already made its impact on Earth by assisting surgeons in performing successful operations in a current clinical study. If Farrader's team is successful in obtaining regulatory approval for MIRA, the robot may one day be employed in hospitals all around the world, enabling surgeons to perform operations on patients thousands of kilometers distant. In the future, NASA plans to deploy a manned mission to Mars that will travel 480 million kilometers and take around 7 months to complete. Given the severe conditions in space during that time, it's safe to say that astronauts will fall victim to a variety of crippling health issues. That's when this robot will get a chance to work its magic. This robot will give NASA the confidence to carry out missions that might have seemed impossible in the past due to there being a high risk of lives being lost. Now, with this invention, anyone will get help wherever they want, and this will give NASA a chance to do the unthinkable. Finally, what's possible in the future because of this invention? With the help of its surgery robot, Virtual Incision intends to enable skilled physicians from Earth to do procedures in space in case of an emergency. It has also been suggested as a potential method for operating on soldiers in combat zones and removing shrapnel. MIRA can be placed through a tiny incision, allowing medical professionals to do minimally invasive abdominal surgery. In earlier trials, miles. Colon resections were completed using the device by surgeons. In a prior experiment, former NASA astronaut Clayton Anderson, now at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, took control of the robot and ordered MIRA to carry out surgical-like activities in an operating room at the University of Nebraska Medical Center in Omaha, 900 miles away. This machine isn't just useful in space, but on land as well. Most of us have specific doctors who we go to when in need of medical help. If an emergency occurs and the doctor that we're comfortable with is away, they can still be able to perform surgery if needed from wherever they are. And now for some other related news. First off, Artemis 1's launch has been scrubbed, the start of an ambitious plan to establish a long-term presence on the moon for scientific research and economic growth was launched by NASA on Monday. This took place with the launch of an unmanned spacecraft into the moon's orbit before landing in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of San Diego. The spacecraft, known as Artemis 1, was to travel for almost 40 days, getting as near to the moon as 60 miles away and orbiting over its dark side at a height of 40,000 miles. A few minutes after Artemis was supposed to launch, NASA declared that the launch had been scrubbed. Engineers determined that the issue stemmed from a liquid hydrogen line within one of the rocket's 4 core stage engines that was not sufficiently cold, which is required before they can ignite. After the launch of the Artemis, the mission had to be canceled on Monday thanks to an engine issue. Vice President Kamala Harris commended the NASA team behind the effort. The team will try again on September 2nd. Let's hope this second time turns out to be better than the disappointing first one. Better safe than sorry. If this wasn't the right time, then it just wasn't. We hope the next attempt is a clear success. Next up, while Einstein's theory of gravity passes another test, dark energy is still a mystery. The search for holes in Einstein's general relativity theory that might shed light on the enigmatic force responsible for the universe's accelerated expansion is still yielding no results. The researchers examined 100 million galaxies in search of evidence that gravity's pull has changed over the course of the universe's history or across huge cosmic distances. Any indication of such a change would suggest that Einstein's general theory of relativity is unfinished or requires revision. Imagine pushing a child on a swing and watching her slow down and almost come to a complete halt to understand why dark energy and the universe's accelerated expansion is so concerning to physicists. The swing then suddenly accelerates and keeps going faster on its own. According to scientists, the cosmos should have started to slow down following the Big Bang's initial acceleration, though it isn't. It's speeding up, and the enigmatic factor that's causing this acceleration is referred to as dark energy. Well, we'll just leave the deciphering of this mystery up to the people with the big brains. We would have loved to help even if we had the slightest clue on how to go about it. We hope the people working tirelessly get some conclusive explanations soon. Finally, images of the Phantom Galaxy, a grand design spiral, are taken by the James Webb Space Telescope. The magnificently spiral M74 Phantom Galaxy was recently captured by the James Webb Space Observatory, demonstrating why it's the finest space telescope ever created by humans. The European Space Agency made the images available to the public. The Phantom Galaxy is positioned directly across from Earth, 32 million light-years away in the constellation Pisces, so it's easier to think of as a study object. Adding on, the galaxy's spatial arms make it a captivating object to observe in the sky. There are a lot of spiral galaxies in the universe. Their spirals, however, are patchy and jagged to structures. According to a statement on the ESA website, the M74's spiral arms, in stark contrast, are noticeable and clearly defined, earning it the name Grand Design Spiral. The pictures are absolutely beautiful. It's crazy where technology is going day by day. Looking at these pictures seemed impossible just a few years back. That's a wrap for this video. Would you be okay with MIRA treating you instead of a real doctor? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.